selection to have the comments show after it's posted when they come in live. But okay, now that even though that was a bit slow, that was recorded for 6 seconds, and it's amazing how much you can say in a second. So I'm probably recorded. Yeah, I went out to there earlier before it's supposed to get yucky out, but it was it was I just went to my chest anyway. It was kind of cold and windy. So okay, so I'm just gonna jump right into it. I don't want to both sit still and quiet and wait because there are those who will see afterwards. I also, and I'm pretty sure the audio is recorded because the machine hasn't moved. It usually does. The green dots are moving along the bottom. So anyway, basically, and I'm sort of wishing, well, I'll just put this at my feet, and the wind at my back. I'm sort of wishing that I, how that makes much difference, but if I, yeah, anyway, I'm going to say, yeah, so basically, I've not been feeling 100% lately, but I, I've been getting through the days. And I just wanted to talk about, and like I say, I don't know how much energy I'm going to have because of, what I was just mentioning. And also just, yeah, so basically, but I felt compelled to do this. It's only noon, just after 12 here. And so, yeah, so I'm just going to get right into it. I don't know. I mean, part of me thinks wait till we have somebody, but much like any of them, I mean, some more than others, whenever you tune in, whatever you are able to, hear is good. And you can always go back and see what you missed before tuning in. But I do want to try and be considerate that there are some people that will see this afterwards and they don't want to sit around rating. Now, of course, I can put in the comments when this truly starts, but also I'm kind of curious and eager, and I feel like doing this and not doing this could somewhat be energy depleting for me as I see the mail being delivered across the street, and we're going to get some messages in. There might even be some for you. We had somebody here briefly, but anyway, like for a few seconds for some reason. I don't know. Maybe there was some sort of technical issue. Yeah, I don't know why. Even that video, which I would have thought would have had some reactions, even though it's incognito, like it wasn't watched by them that way, would have some reactions and comments. I was very surprised. There is a small part of me that does kind of, just because, I don't know, this doesn't seem to be working at my feet. Well, they're not that cold, I guess. I have to put the heat on later. Worried about that. But touching things at a room temperature and things like cold, that's what it feels. That's what it feels. But yeah. Anywho, so what I'm gonna do in this video, it's like my feet are like just on the cusp of being chilly, but they're not so chilly that I feel like I must wear socks. So, but even I, whether it's because of anemia or whatever it is, even I can be a bit sensitive to it. So it's like I'm noticing it and it's distracting me a little bit. So I'm gonna try to ignore it, and we'll see how we do. So I know I have an intriguing title. I am so and so, such and such. I don't know. I don't actually have much nicknames or titles, so I mean, I'm me. And as me, some of you that know, in fact, that's very serendipitous. Just a moment here. I know that like many of us, a certain somebody is having financial difficulties, but I'm wondering if they might be able to tune in. It's always nice when people are here. And there's one person I'm thinking of in particular. I should just state also that I'm distracted and in another mode that we are connected. Okay, I've got a couple distracting messages actually as well. But that whether you finish seeing that one or you see this one or both, and you may think you seem fine. And no, in a way, in some ways, that's normal, but it does. Well, I don't know. It's showing me the two new messages, but that's being slow to send. But it's just being slow to look. There we go. But it really, sometimes I'm feeling better than other times. So we have somebody just tuned in. So I'm just quickly responding to an important message. Somebody needs to borrow an instrument. They're coming from out of the city and they didn't really want to travel with it, and they're doing a show. And there's one other comment on the post that is noon hour. You know what? I wonder. I want to get one out of the way first. Sorry for the distractions here. Yes, I did send to her, right? Yeah. I came to do one thing and then two other things distracted me. I promise I'm popular sometimes. But we do this for whoever sees it here. So as some of you will know that follow the channel, I channel angels in heaven and mostly my own loved ones who I know, and as I'm able, I keep that away and at bay as much as I can, and I've done this for 15 years and only been scratched once. I mean, most of them just want to communicate with us or their loved ones, and one of them I actually just sensed. I don't know where she or they was a moment ago, but interestingly, and I mean, some could say, well, with what I'm about to share about this person, it makes sense. I don't want to. Okay, so we have a viewer, but I just sent the link to somebody, and it doesn't say seen yet, so it's somebody else. I also was mentioning it to a couple other people. I have other things going on in my browser. I'm not sure if it's Juanita or it just I don't know. Just shows at the top. Anyway, it doesn't say who though until they comment. Anywho, so before he tunes in, and I sent him a little bit to see after that. Okay, I also need to put something underneath my legs because for some reason this chair is feeling hard at the moment. So anywho, I feel so much taller now. Yeah. Height. Woo woo. Sorry. Height and hype. I just well, I don't know. He may have came up here and been quiet. He may not have. You know what? I partly want to just we put a thing on our in front of our stairs so the dog doesn't get up here. It started when we first got him as a puppy, but so that he doesn't get up here by himself and go into any open rooms and get into things. But I feel like I want to give him the option to come up here. And if I know he's up here, then I know he's not causing any problems down here. I'm just gonna slide this. I'm not gonna turn off this light. And even though I'm going right back up, you might wonder. And here he is. So you can go lay in the bed, okay, Sonny? Thanks. So, yeah, I think he went right in there actually, since I don't see him in the foyer. So, cute puppy dog, she says. And so I'm not saying anything about me, but I am saying that I'm glad I was saying something to you. I'm so sorry for the distraction. I promise it'll be worth it once I get started. But I will say with my Billy that I did sense her kind of walking back and forth a little bit, and I thought I heard heels. She says, "You know it, girl." And that's because they're so used to actually I can't fully focus, but that's because they're so used to females and female impersonators, probably. Okay, he's been out of the messages actually. Right before I sent the link. Anywho, a few days ago, I wasn't even thinking of another one or two camis that could have led me to thinking this. I really wasn't. I don't know what I was thinking. What was I thinking? I don't know if I was looking for a name connected to my old account or I'd seen the name and it made me think of this person. And I went to her page, and although it wasn't one that was super obvious at first, and yeah, I have the ability, but it was late at night from what I recall. I was tired. I wasn't really thinking, I wasn't, yeah, basically, we don't have all the answers. But, ooh, I like black. You know what she's saying when she says that? Black. He says, "Oh yeah, I'm not shy, girl." Now, some people may say that drag queens, that's where the queen comes in as we get a viewer, are pretty well known for having big personalities. That being said, I'm sure just like any of us, that varies, and there's different levels. Or some are more shy and less to performing, or whatever it is. And now she did find a long video. I don't know if it was all them in it, aside from what you might call go-go dancers. Maybe we just didn't. So I was like go-go dancers, but they were there for like 3 minutes. Anywho, and he's went offline, so whatever. But basically, yeah, so I came across and started to gather fairly quickly, where maybe some people wouldn't if they didn't have the gift. I don't know. I can't remember exactly what I saw, and right now, well, heck, that page reloaded. I could go look. Yeah, she said, "Go look, girl." Like I said, there used to be my female person. Um, take a looky look. You know, one thing I would say for those that say, oh, things that people can look up or whatever, honestly, they often still want to reach their loved ones. And basically, I guess they figure, you know, I'll help them out a little bit. I'll help them along. I remember one person, I can't remember, a lady's mother, and I still haven't connected with her yet, but the mother gave me a bit of information. She said, I just want you to feel a bit more confident. You know, they're like, there's nothing to hide, in other words. And once they realize that they can communicate with the medium, they realize, and it's like, oh, I know this is real. I want them to know it's real. Whether they ever find out that something got looked at or not, you know, it's not necessarily a bad thing if it does, essentially. Like, you know, like I'm just kind of helping guide you along to some information. Um, just like an investigator, you know, in any type would do, you know, and a lot of them do have, you know, like I'm not psychic either, I'm just a medium as far as that goes. A lot of them do have those kind of abilities. I wish this one would stop opening. It keeps making me think though that maybe Leanne wants to be in touch, but I've already got kind of 3 people, so I want to, but an angel form now. And so, yeah, I mean, and this is someone that I didn't know super well. I had her as a contact, and we probably had a few chats, but she, you know, this is not even channeling for somebody particular, except for me and our viewers. And she's like, yeah, come get to know my girl. I ain't shy. um, she even says, how you doing, as we get a viewer. So how you doing? And I don't mean it that way, but how are you doing? And so I sense that as the viewer goes, maybe I do mean it that way. Then I don't know. She's like, oh yeah, you do, girl. You love that word, don't you? She says, oh yeah, I'm one of the flamboyant ones. This is so cool. This is so cool that you could do this. She says, I've only talked with one other medium for a loved one, and honestly, they weren't that good. She said she thought about a couple things, and then the rest was like very generic. But that being said, I will say though that, you know, some things simply are generic. As Teresa says, and she's got a long wait list and charges a lot. I don't. As Teresa says, you know, there's only so many ways somebody can pass away for the most part. Honestly, I've also felt them say, even for myself, my own when I channel, I've often felt them say that, you know, certain details don't matter. You know, and also certain things change when you pass away. So what one may kind of think about somebody or expect to hear about someone who's passed away that they are connected to, it may not be. It may not be. So I'm just noticing some dead spots on this plant, ironically. What they feel you need to hear, or what still makes sense to them. You know, and I think it's important that it just be very organic. So yeah, I didn't know if I liked the fit of the shirt. I've never worn it before till I wore it for a few moments. But yeah, basically, now I just look like a floating head. I'm wearing 2 shirts I haven't worn much. This is just a print. I don't know if you call it a hunting print or what, but it's a print. And this is, and I might put this on because it's a sleeveless thing, but yet when I get like moments, whether it's because of a health reason or whatever, where I just feel a bit warm. But I'm not really into hunting, and we don't have to talk about that. But anyway, yeah, basically, so, and this is very interesting, actually. I am not feeling like I'm having a hard time kind of getting words out at the moment for whatever reason. But she says, I'll help you. I'll help you. She says, I just wanted to stop you because one reason why I wanted to visit you at some point, I didn't know when, but I guess now. Where you going, girl? Where you going? She says. Oh, the dog lives with an interesting person. We live with an interesting dog in interesting times. She says, may I finish my point? Go ahead. She says, thank you. So those vitamins are just so damn bitter. She's like, I'm about to be bitter too if you don't sit down and listen. So it's good to have a little bit of humor in life. I just wanted to acknowledge how hard you're trying in life, and give you credit for that. And she says, and also how you're trying to be your authentic self. She says there's nothing more beautiful. She says sometimes it's a real journey, and you just got to accept that and ride the waves. It's interesting that the ending kept popping up too, because I recently watched a video where we actually visited a couple of graves in Ontario, and one was for Leanne, and then at the other one, my dad's. One of the few things I actually said. I mean, I wasn't the only one there talking, and we weren't there very long because had to go to our motel and settle in to the town, and can't remember what time of day it was, and I don't remember. Yeah, we did go to Marie briefly, but basically, I'd said it had been quite a journey. Okay, well, he's back in the messages, and he hearted. He's not at the video yet. It doesn't say he's typing. I don't know if he's doing it quick because I've done it quick before. And basically, well, I mean, no, I have another photo up here right now. But I'll get that information to him for sure. See, when he's understanding that I'm doing a video, but when somebody's wanting something from me, and especially when it's fairly easy to get, although it requires going downstairs and it requires actually, and one of them's in the basement, I believe. But that was a pretty clear picture, and I'm not even. It may have been a children's toy brand, to be honest. But the other one, yeah. Anywho, so basically, and it's interesting. I just found myself thinking to ask the question. I mean, anything else? She's like, I think that's it, girl. I don't know. Something else you'd like? Oh, let me pull up my list. If there's kids around, I mean, this is the thing. I don't have a filter, and sometimes Spirit does. And some of us aren't that used to being around kids, and even if we are, yeah. So always recommended on this video to well, you might just tune in now. And now I'm back on my page. Yeah, that's about where I was in the browsing. Person who doesn't defend you while someone slanders you is your enemy too. It's better than somewhat similar goes on. I don't know. Okay, so I don't know if that's Vincent that just turned in, and I almost want to do Starry Night. Now, Vincent's two of them, and they're very similar. Even their first and last name, two that I know of. A bit material, but if it is you, I'm really enjoying chatting with you, and I just need to focus on this video. But you left, sorry. Anyway, she was making a joke. Where did I? And I caught it before, to say put on headphones or send the kids out of the room. We're pulling it from. But I don't know. You got me thinking. She says you can think on it. You can think on it. That's very strange. Yeah, on a weekend we can get to, or if you're not that far, just church. I could possibly get it that far. Yeah, I thought that when I'd sent a live stream while it was rolling before, I sent the link to someone at work, but it didn't work for him. So, but yeah, but it is a nice song, deep, somewhat relatable in some ways, and he, but anywho, it's funny because I did a part 2 video the other day. She's like, I can be in your part 2. Just holler at your girl, and again, she's the drag queen. She's the comedian. I'm not saying anything with me, but and we can look at that wish list. So, I'm not sure if it just says a viewer at the top. It doesn't say who unless you comment. Not sure if it's Vincent, Juanita. I think there was a Kristen on that post, or if it's somebody else. But what I'm doing in this video, and I'm happy to do it for you as well, like more personally. But what I'm doing is, at the age of 25, I was gifted, although it's not always. It doesn't. I don't always feel it's active. Sometimes it feels like it goes dormant, but for whatever reason, I think maybe I couldn't manage it being like a daily thing, as the viewer goes. Anyway, I was gifted with the ability to sense and get messages from heaven, angels. And okay, so that second thing I sent though, so I don't know what's going on. And basically, well, that's just more. Oh, does it? I don't know. Sorry. Okay, somebody's here. Welcome. Just if it's not clear on the camera, it's just kind of like I don't know if you call it a hunting print, but anyway, I don't wear it often. But anywho, just wanted to dress up a little for the video, so to speak. Anywho, so I've been given the ability to feel angels that have passed on. Now it's interesting. I think she passed away a few years ago. But sometimes we don't either need to or we just don't get information right away. Like I say, this is not someone I was super close with. So she was probably busy trying to connect with other loved ones and, adjusting, although I think they adjust pretty quickly. I mean, if we're talking about my friend Ray, I mean, She does it pretty quickly. That's short for something, if you're wondering. And yeah, basically, sorry, I feel like I have a bit of a hang now. And it's been mostly my own loved ones, not because that's all I want it to be, but it's just kind of how it happens. I have done it for others. So I know how real it is. Because I mean, even if I didn't know them as well as I may have liked to in my life, I knew them, and you can just sense their love and their guidance and all those good things. Um, and yeah, so that particular person that I just channeled, like I said, was more of an acquaintance, but and I'm not even sure today why I was specifically thinking of her. It really actually feels like it was really quite random. Like I say, it was a couple of days ago I kind of discovered, but it was to my to my mind. It's not like I stay away from you know the type of person that she was or whatever, but it feels like it was quite random, um, which is a perfect segue. Um, actually, uh, almost a double segue because a week or two before that, I found out that my grade 4 teacher, which was the first teacher I had when I entered into grade school, actually, because they didn't put me in grade 3 right away for whatever reason. I don't know if it was because of my age. I was also in a special ed class for a while, but I mean, they had to, I don't know. I don't know why, but I do know that the grade 3 teacher, and I've tried to find them, but I've not been able to. Um, but I did find the gym teacher's website, and they were, I believe, from the same country or at least similar cultural backgrounds. And I can't remember if I saw a phone number, but maybe I should call it and find out. But I didn't have the grade 3 teacher, like I say, but I do know that he was Jamaican, I believe, and he played guitar, and he would sometimes bring it to the class. So sometimes I'd catch wind of that. But my grade 4 teacher passed away in 2018. Um, she's not someone I thought about a lot, even when I get nostalgic and think about school. She wasn't a terrible teacher. Again, I spent a lot of time in special ed. Uh, but I did have her. I was trying to remember because I feel like in grade school and in high school, they also had a specific subject designation that they taught. Like I can think through most of them. Um, and think like I think one of the grade 5 ones was music, one of the grade 6 ones was art, one of the grade 7 was geography, grade 8 the homeroom teacher I guess is what it was also the history teacher. No, grade 7 was science. Anywho, point of the matter being, so I came to find out that she passed away, and I know what I don't remember why I looked her up. It's just one day I guess I was thinking through the teachers, and it's not the first time I have over the years. And she has a kind of common name, but I find myself, well, I typed in the town name that I went to school, and yeah, I found out that she passed away. Um, and why I thought of her today is because when I was just channeling that other person who had a big personality, even though I only knew her as a teacher, I feel like she did as well. Now it's interesting because there's been someone here for about 10 minutes and Vincent's typing. So I'm not sure if you're multitasking or what. And I might try and do that song. Starry, Starry Night. Um, we have 2 viewers. The other one says he has to go to work. I'm not sure if one of them is Vincent, but I'm about to find out. And it was. So yeah, but then both went. Well, that was nice. He was here for a little while. Didn't weigh in I guess he decided just to kind of messenger for whatever reason to message me, uh, and had to get back to work. But sounds like he supports this stuff, so that's good to know that I've made a con. That's not that people don't. I'm just not feeling as well connected in life as I used to be. Like I said in the video the other day, I think the pandemic was part of it. When I left school and work, and I can't afford the great big commitment. I struggle to decide because I honestly do like a lot of things. I don't do a lot of them, but I like them. But the commitment of school, the cost of college or university, I just I can't. It's not something I can do. And I don't know if it's because it was this or what, or just didn't care, but it's all good. And that can be a good thing sometimes. But basically, did I not bring the tablet up here? Humbug. And there's a perfect excuse. I do this. I can't go look at the accordion right now. But now it's got me wondering. But I know one thing I'd hope to hear, and that's the thing. And it's interesting when he says keep up the good work because in this people's finances are tight. I looked up this 3 days ago. That doesn't mean it's not there now. People's finances are tight, and and including mine. But we got to keep existing. If that's what we want to try for, then we have to. And I do it with so much love in my heart, as do the angels that are trying to reach their loved ones. With no malicious ill intent. Am I an imperfect person? Yes, because I'm human. And that includes when channeling. But I know that there are some that are out there to do bad, and I'm not one of them. So I feel okay to ask for a bit of money. Also because things have been a bit of a struggle. And I think there's just a lot of competition out there. So many people doing similar things. I don't drive. I'm not easily able to travel. I don't have a degree. Not that you need one in this, but and I don't know, just how life goes sometimes, But I guess it's still it's almost mid-year. No, it's still early in the year, but almost mid-year. And I just hope that this is my year. I really do. But yeah, so basically, it's not 28, 38. So yeah, but when I left school and jobs, and I've never had a great job, and I do and don't think that should be blamed on having a degree. I've worked in a grocery store and I've worked in call centers. And I know some people might say, well, that's right up the alley with someone who would be a scammer. And I'm so glad. Well, he said he was a Buddhist. First of all, and I was thinking about that job recently, and in fact, the couple that were like the general managers and one of the ones who did a lot of the interviews, they just lost their very young nephew to, I believe, addictions. But anyway, Um, he was always very nice. She picked favorites, and for whatever reason, I wasn't one. She was kind of stuck up, tight. I don't know, but he he was nice to me. Maybe it's because we were both musicians. I don't know. But point of the matter is that I knew that there was a physical workplace and people worked at it. 3 rooms full of them, 4 actually, I believe. Uh, I also happened to work at 2 of their different locations. One was fairly close to where I lived at the time, and the other one wasn't that far. It did require going to Main Street a bit, but and yeah, I see all kinds of bad reviews, and I know that they had a high turnover as call centers do. And I was there for long spurts a couple times. It's often been that thing without a degree, and I don't know. And in some ways, things were going a lot better then, but I still, was not able to land a dream job for whatever reason, or no good reason, but just wasn't. Um, and but like I say, I knew that there was a physical place where people did work, and I knew that I was reaching people, and I knew that I wasn't scamming people, and I knew that some of the other people I was working with were good people. That being said, they did do some dodgy things. Um, that they kind of got around pretty slickly at times. For instance, we're in Canada, but we would say we were calling. This was a while ago, but many years. But we'd say we were calling from the states, different states at different times. Um, and there was a bit of a hook at the beginning before I could do the spiel if you'd like me to do the spiel. But do I miss it? No. I mean, a lot of people surprisingly did talk to us, and it was really lovely. But you always had to have on mind you're making money for legit reasons, just trying to have a job, um, and just hoping that that they're treated well by the other person they had to talk to, and that they receive the product, and possibly win the sweepstakes if it wasn't fictitious. But I mean, it. So I guess I feel mixed or neutral about having worked there. Uh, and the other one was simply surveys. We weren't asking for money at all, and it wasn't a lie at the top of it if we ever had to say, because we had different campaigns to say, and one of them was helping people get into college. So I mean, that we're not asking for money, um, but for a good person who's just trying to do their job and be liked and get from point A to point B, so to speak. Um, it was a little too hit and miss, and really wasn't the job for me. But yeah, we were just filling out questionnaires about random topics. Some of them were stupid or badly designed, but um, but I'd much rather be doing this because I know how legit it is for me, and that I enjoy it more. The channeling, the music, the healing, life coaching, and such. It's been a bit slow starting with my self-employment, but yeah. So speaking about, and one of my coworkers that I was closer with passed away in 2015. So we've got 2015, 2018, 2016, and I'm not sure when Cami passed, but I think it was since during or the pandemic, or just 2 or 3 years ago, perhaps. But I remember that Mr. Phillips had a big personality. He's back in the messages. Whoops, I'm going to take the typer out of there because I'm not typing. But he is at work. But I don't know what he does. Well, I'm about to find out because I asked and he's typing. I remember one time, and she was pretty much the same. She's also dyed her hair blonde at different points in time. One of the special ed teachers, actually. I remember I reconnected with her. It didn't go very far. She didn't really want to. I was surprised. And it's always, you never know. I mean, but times are different. Then maybe she didn't know what I was like as an adult and didn't want to know. Sandy was mixed about too. Um, Somebody just liked this, and I appreciate it, but they're not currently watching. Anywho, would I want to do video and lights for shows? Video, maybe. Lights, I think I'd find it boring pretty quick. And I don't know. And yeah. Anyway, point of the matter is that I think the memory that stands out. Well, to do. We did a project on Egypt, and we built a big. Do they call them coffins in Egypt? I should remember. I feel that they don't, but I can't think of what it's called. Anyway, and it was group work that we did, and that was fun. I still remember in grade 8, we kind of got into each of us got into groups of like 3 or 4. We developed a lesson plan to teach the rest of the class. We could use the overhead. We could use the chalkboard. It was a great, aside from having teachers, a great introduction as to what it'd be. And then now I'm thinking, funny, what it'd be like to be a teacher. But I don't know if I can handle it. I'm also trying to decide about doing some work. I don't know if it's day camps or with theaters and stuff like that. But with kids, I just don't know if I could keep up. We'll have to see what my health does too. But but yeah, so basically, I remember that project. And the only other thing I really remember, I mean, this goes back 25 years or something like that, about as long as I've had this ability, actually. One time we were sitting facing like that direction. She was known, even though she worked with young kids, and this is not to say she wasn't a nice person, but she was known for being loud at times. Kind of like Miss Chaudhry. But it was Miss Myers, and I don't know, we were working on something, I think just one-on-one at the time during recess or something, I don't know. And she came booming into the room. I don't know what she was mad about. I don't know what she was saying. She's actually saying, yeah, that made me laugh. But she says, I'm sure you've gotten past that, and I didn't mean to frighten you. But you really didn't do good on that paper. And this is interesting. I don't know if I remember this about her or not, and I don't know why I'm feeling like doing it physically, but she just kind of stands with her hands in her pockets. And I don't know. I mean, I have a pretty good sense of people and their character for whatever. I mean, maybe part of being an empath, but like this is not about her pain or anything. This is just a way that she might like to stand. And like I say, it's going back so long, but for some reason, it feels like it would make sense. And that's what I got a flash visual of, whether it makes sense or not. And I mean, and they're obviously in different form now, but they kind of show themselves at times in a less transparent angelic form because we would expect to see both perhaps. So it's kind of like flickers of each at times. Anywho, yeah, there was something I didn't know about this, but well, she just said, I ain't no drag queen, because we get a second like, thank you. And somebody just tuned in. I don't know, is that you, Vincent? Are you back? I'd kind of like you to answer on the live chat, but at the same time, I don't think I selected the setting where the live chat shows afterwards. I just forgot. I sometimes do, unless I intentionally planned to. The viewer went, but so since it's not going to show afterwards, message is fine, I guess. But Um, um, so yeah, so she says, I ain't no drag queen. Um, but whatever you do in life, just be yourself. And if people like you, that's great. And if they don't give them any attention. And I don't, I mean, there's obviously idiots, and I observe them out there, whether it's stupid comments that somebody gets on something online or whatever. Like, I know that they're out there, but thankfully I don't experience them very often. But then again, I do and don't hold back. But, or whatever. But, nobody's currently watching. I almost feel like maybe Vincent came back in and put a like. Just doing something here. I hope I can do it while I'm rolling. It looks like I can. I'm just capturing an image to send to a friend of a friend. She sits still with her hands kind of in her pocket, leans over to the screen and says, "Who's your friend there?" She's like, and so that right there. So I mean, it's always cool when they have met, and sometimes I hear that they have. And she passed away quite a bit. Ray's not been there that long, but she said, "I'm sure I'll meet her someday at one of our heavenly parties." You look like good friends, or is that your partner? So, you mean you haven't been watching over me? She says, I had quite a few friends. I had a pretty good family. Um, and, you know, um, um, you're not the only student that I had that does this kind of stuff. So I visited a couple of them. Any that I would remember or was close with? She says, I don't know who you were close with, honestly. Um, I don't recall you talking to them very much. It's just a couple of them, of course. But she says, that, sorry, I'm just distracted and I am a bit tired. And I also am sensing a little bit, maybe because, like it's not someone I was hugely close with, although I knew her in my life. I feel like maybe she doesn't know what to say. What kind of like came like happy to visit with you for a few minutes and show your viewers that this kind of thing is possible. But what do you want to talk about? And I don't know. I kind of want to talk about this. She says, then talk about that. As we get somebody tuning in, hello and welcome. You can see maybe more evident by the description than the title. what this is, and I'm not sure if you've seen any of the videos before, and please try not to prejudge. But what this is I and you left, so screw it. I'm not going to waste my energy. Um, but basically, he was definitely high school. I don't think he went to my grade school. So I'd like to quickly share. I know this has gotten a bit long, but it's already got 2 likes. I'd like to see if I can get a few more. And this might not be that long anyway, this last bit. But the most interesting thing happened, and I might have a message waiting for me downstairs. Once I'm down there, I want to be down there for a bit. The most interesting thing happened yesterday. Sure, kind of, we're just going through our snow melting, although we were supposed to get more this afternoon. Well, it's only about 1 o'clock now. It's supposed to be spring, I thought, or I think we've experienced the first day of spring, although it hasn't hugely felt like it. We've had a couple of nice days, I guess, and it's still so dusty and messy out there and everything. And but there's a specific detail to something that I found. 2, you could say, 3, 4. No, but seriously, in no particular order. One of them, as the viewer goes, that was here for a few seconds, is that I don't get out a lot. 1, my health. 2, my finances. 3, currently, and the cost of things. 3, it had been winter, and I'm not much into winter. I don't drive. I don't know. I've just been in a kind of stagnant point, which part in life in a lot of ways, which may or may not be helping my health. But and it's great because the viewer can get to know me. I'm going to try not to make this much longer than 38 minutes, but it's obviously already is, and it's going to be a bit longer. But yeah, basically, and I mean, I have it open on the screen. Once I see it, I'm there. Now, because I've been struggling, some people could say, "Oh, I'd probably walk around with my head." Isn't that? Oh, I walk around with my head hanging down. And I don't sing a cappella very often. Who's loving you? Is that the song? I feel like there's other songs too. But anyway, and this is well into the video anyway. So, but let's get those ones. Where to put it? But so the snow is mostly melting, but it would make sense if it was last year. Then I came across something on the ground. My eye just happened to catch it. I don't remember what side was facing up. I feel like the back, which is a biblical verse, actually. Oh no, actually, I think it was this side. I'll have to decide. I mean, honestly, she was getting engaged. She was going through other mental health stuff. I think we were still in the pandemic. It's another 2018, actually. I wonder if maybe that's why, but it's ironic that they have the same first name and the same last initial, and an R and an H in their last name, too. Anywho, so I happened to notice this on the ground, and I can't remember if I took a few steps back. I know there was a car kind of turning onto the road or whatever, and I feel like they looked at me picking something up off the ground, but whatever. And I went back and I grabbed it. And I think it was partly the year, partly I just felt called to take it, and I don't think anybody's looking for it. I mean, it's somewhat dirty, not hugely dirty. Um, there's the backside of it. I've folded it a little bit, but I figure that they have the obituary. They can probably get another copy from someone else. I'll give them this if I make any connections and they really want it. But yeah. Anywho, and it was on the ground, and what's wild is the last name is familiar to someone I went to school with, not someone I'm really in touch with. And I think Cammie's long gone. I'm not sure if Susan's still around. If so, I don't mind if you leave. She's like, I don't mind if I do either. Just kidding. But but and just for anybody who wonders, anybody who might know him and wondering, since he's often not in them, does he know that I'm doing these? I'll call him before I finish off here, Glenn. But like I say, it's a shared channel. But this it's not the only theme of the channel, which is why, and there's always newcomers perhaps too, right? So I just think it was really ironic that somebody who channels saw this, somebody who knows the last name, which I only know one person with it too, actually. My stepdaughter and her husband and her daughter, I believe, turns out her mother-in-law or his sister-in-law or his brother's wife. So I think that means his sister-in-law, yeah. And if it doesn't, I don't have a huge family. They're not very connected. I'm sometimes not very good at that kind of stuff. I know that they know the daughter, though, who ironically has a name that a form of it is Angel. The one who is in kind of my blended family who knows her. And this was before the pandemic. I'm just a little bit confused. And I almost thought that was the church near us. Why it says seating and video to commence at 10 a.m. What video? I remember I seen one site once. I said it might be an open casket. I don't know why they're calling a baby being born in August a Christmas wish, but I guess I get it. Very interesting how it says how old the grandkids are. He was involved in a community center in the area that I didn't know about. I don't know how close it is, but I'm kind of curious. So, but yeah, out of the two people, and I don't know if there's been any since, I don't think so, but he's still kind of curious about renting that instrument from us, so I want to get back to him on that. Anywho, yeah, so, and I don't know if there's anybody else. There's a former boss that's kind of mentioned down here, and there's that lady, although I don't know her. That we'll see. But I do get a biblical, I do get a religious sense from this, and it's lovely when people realize that this is a God-given gift, and that they believe that there's a heaven, so why wouldn't there be angels? And why would they want to abandon us? You know what I mean? Um, and so, um, but I don't know. I don't know if their family, at least it wasn't super recently, would be open to, because I kind of feel like he's showing me this because he wants to reach his family, because maybe he feels like some of them don't feel him or are going through something right now or something. He says, "You got the nail on the head." It's an interesting phrase. I've heard it, but I don't use it. But yeah, basically, one thing he is saying though is that happy to meet you, sir. And he sticks out his hand. And interestingly, I do kind of remember seeing here, and I mean, we all, coexist amongst each other, and we don't know everybody yet. Everybody starts out as strangers. Another phrase I sometimes hear. Um, Helping his family, friends, and even total strangers or selfless individual. He says, you may not be super well known, but he says, was given the ability when I found out about mediumship to be kind of pushed into your direction and awareness, as you know, um, as somebody who, was from my city and who can do this as I now see you can. He says, I've never, you know, even though I've been passed away for a few years, I mean, this is not something I have a lot of experience with. And, and let's just say you have loved ones who spoke very highly of you and your ability. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'll ever reach my loved ones through you. I'm open to it. I hope they would be. Um, but he says, um, I just wanted to introduce myself, and I also wanted to say, even though it'd still be great if it's somebody physically in person, that I'm really glad you had a good day that day. He says, I'm sorry that you feel like you're having some health symptoms, and that can be very challenging. He says that I didn't go to lunch with you or anything like that. Um, in fact, I kind of went my own way as you went in. He says, I was not making it obvious that you sensed me. I just thought, I'm going to, you know, and I know you've been doing this for a long time. You've had some loved ones here for a long time, and I've been passed away for a long time. But like I say, nail on the head. Some of my loved ones are going through some pretty big things right now. And as you were recently remembering that you got your ability when you were going through some things, not that I'm not now, you know, he says, I didn't say you weren't. And he says, and at the same time, sometimes when it's really hard, or you're just your health, whatever is, it makes it difficult. It is. It's hard to pick up on things. I'm surprised I've been this able, to be honest. But I'm in a quiet room, and it's and he's like, the party hasn't started yet. Eh? um, he's also just glanced down at my shirt, like he wants to say something about it. Says, I'm not here to disrespect you or pass judgment on you. Um, Nobody has the right to do that, even if they think they do. Um, I think we should be nice to people, which is interesting. I mean, I guess he's kind of reading my mind a little bit, but like I say, I'm very thankful I don't experience otherwise very much. Um, he says, I'm glad to hear that. But he says, but back to the other day, um, and kind of knowing what you were up to that day, and lots of people could have passed by that. A couple people did pick it up and look at it. It's like, I don't know this person, um, which I figured would be people's response. But I put that there. Um, I, with my special powers, put that on the ground, and that's like this one thing I found something about footsteps too. Actually, It's on the coffee table. I put some money on there and said, because I might misplace my wallet. Says, I don't go up much, don't get a lot of money. Says, I might misplace my wallet, but I'm not going to misplace the table. But anywho, he says, I just feel like you deserve credit for trying and for, he says, I know you wanted to do something for somebody less fortunate. You, even though, see, the thing is you can hope, oh, I don't run into anybody. That does not mean there aren't homeless people. That just means they're not around at the time. And there, it's fairly, usually they are. I mean, I don't go around there often, even though it's not close to home, but the times I have been and the things I've heard a little bit, but of course, not all of them are rough. But he says, and you didn't feel like you made a connection with anybody. You weren't able to do that. Maybe you will be in the future. But I just felt like it was worth saying, good on you. I'm glad because I'm holding my browser on something now, and I don't know how much I might have to do on my tablet. May not be much, so I'm glad I had this distraction for a little bit. He says I got a little bit more time if you'd like, and he says, "Tell me about yourself." So what got you into doing these videos? It's almost as if he didn't know podcasting was the word for it or not. That's an interesting question, actually. I feel like I have talents and abilities. I don't know if I feel up to doing music in this one or not, but I almost want to. So, but nobody's watching right now anyway. Talents and abilities that, and other people do have them too, but I have them in my way that will impact people, or hopefully start to more these days. I haven't felt it happening a lot, but that will impact people and brighten their day and heal them and entertain if it's meant to, which with the channel thing it usually isn't, unless they happen to be an entertaining soul, entertaining type of personality, or headband, or are now, because they go to their best years, as I've talked about in other videos. Then and I guess that's my best answer, other than sometimes I get really bored, and these days sometimes also a bit lonely. And so it's a way to hopefully not only have something to do, but maybe make connections. I don't know, YouTube, it's a bit harder, but I don't know Facebook these days. It's not that it can't happen. But he says those are all great reasons. And that's the other thing too. A lot of angels that have passed away, if they were religious, or they get more of a sense of God when they pass away, and they sometimes gain a religion. But I feel like he probably was religious. And he says, I hope you're also sharing a little bit, of the word of God from time to time, which in my own ways, but not necessarily biblical verses, I guess I do. He says there are some amazing verses that I think, could really help you in your life. This is interesting. I don't really feel like I'm not going to say preach that, but I don't really feel like the angels, a lot of them know me a bit better, and they know that it isn't necessarily the way that works for me. Just because it strongly works for someone else doesn't mean that it does for somebody else. And even if we'd like it to, and even if maybe there's potential for it, I think that it would be disrespectful to try and push it on somebody. You can say, this is what I believe, but in whatever way works for you. And at different points in life, different things will work. He says, I understand. It sounds like you have a dog in here. I don't see a dog. Yeah, the dog's in the other room. He says, aren't they great? So I get a very kind of calm, yet positive and encouraging, why does it show me riff on, kind of personality from him. And suddenly I sense him just saying, I can't believe this connection I've just made, and they were right. And my goodness. And sure, I mean, to anybody who doesn't believe or whatever, they might say I'm just talking myself up. But there's no reason why they wouldn't as well. And maybe I need this as well. But it's totally coming from Daryl, and he says, "No, you are communicating with me quite well, actually." And he says, and Vincent just came back in, and he says, "I sense that you've got a lot of various talents and a good heart, and I think that will do you. I hope it's doing you well in life." And yeah, at times, at other times, it feels like it's not being noticed. And he says, it's always noticed by God. I mean, personally, I feel like the world is so big and there's so many people in it, whether they believe somewhat, believe strongly, whatever. I just feel like he's busy. He's not almighty. He exists as a creator, I feel, but he's not almighty. And I don't feel like he can watch us, and unless he's done it before we were born, as some people say. I don't know what to think of that. I like, I'm not here to diss anyone's religion, and I do feel some of those kind of things. But it's so weird I couldn't find them via mine before, like, earlier today. You know what? I'm just gonna try and get an answer without going downstairs about something. But yeah, he says that's okay. I mean, you have your angels, and you hopefully have some good people in your life that will make a really meaningful impact for you in a positive way. Shook my hand, and he's off. Hi, how's it going? Okay, cool. Just wanted to let you know I did a pretty good podcast. I also wanted to ask, do you remember the type of accordion that we have?